UFC on Fox Sports 1 TD Gardens happened in Boston last Saturday night. Main event was Shogun versus Sonnen. You want to talk about contrasting styles? Shogun, Sonnen. Contrasting styles. You got a wrestler boxer and you got a Muay Thai Brazilian Jiu-jitsu black belt. The co-main event we had Travis Brown, which was a huge underdog because he was against the Reem, Alistair Overeem, looking to rebound from his knockout loss to Bigfoot Silva, which led to Bigfoot Silva actually getting Alistair Overeem's title shot, So we'll get into Uriah Faber versus Yuri Alcantara, and man, was that fight exciting. For bantamweights, I normally don't like to watch the smaller guys because they're so fast. They're so quick. It's kind of hard to keep holding the flyweights. When I watched Demetrius Johnson and John Moraga on UFC on Fox, they look so tiny. It was so hard to keep score. I knew that Mighty Mouse was dominating the fight, but to score it is almost impossible. I mean, they're endless gas tanks. They're super quick. Their takedowns are lightning fast. You would never see them coming. So it's kind of fascinating, and it's kind of like, I have no fucking clue what's going on at the same time. In the preliminaries, we had another fight with the little guys. It was Michael McDonald and Brad Pitt. And his brain, that guy is a fighter. He's a fighter, and there's nothing you can do about it. That guy, that's his livelihood. That's everything this guy has. I've never seen anyone with more heart, I don't think, than Brad Pickett. And I'm going to say that. I'll say it now with confidence. I've never seen a fighter with more heart than Brad Pickett. At least not last Saturday night. Last Saturday night, this guy refused to go down. He refused to tap. He refused to be, ragdolled. He held his own the entire time. I learned that he does wear the suspenders and the hat in remembrance of his grandfather, who was an Irish bare knuckle boxer, and actually taught him how to do his first jab. Taught him how to jab. And Brad Pickett ends up losing the fight via triangle. Michael McDonald is extremely skilled. His last fight was actually against one of the top tier guys in the world, in what I like to call, one of the up and comers, one of the people you're going to see a lot more of, and that's Renan Barão. Renan Barão finished him via head arm triangle, 4th or 5th round, UFC on Fuel a while back. He bounced back in spectacular fashion. It was a lightning fast triangle. This kid is unstoppable. He's so young, 22, and all the time in the world. Brad Pickett is just a fighter in here and in here and in here. He's a fighter, and right here, it's just this guy will fight anybody any day. He's so small, and this guy's fucking absolutely lethal. He's just devastating, and fantastic job done by Michael McDonald. Moving on, Matt Brown versus Mike Pyle. I liked Mike Pyle in the fight, even though he was an underdog. If you've ever read Forrest Griffin's book, Fight, you'll know that Mike Pyle, quote unquote, knows everything about fighting. Techniques, coaching, he's well conditioned. He's great in Muay Thai, he's a great boxer, he can wrestle, and he's got awesome submissions. Says Forrest, and he comes out, I think the fight lasted about all of 1 minute, and the Matt the Immortal Brown looks to be immortal, and immediately he does what he's supposed to do when you're on a 3-fight winning spree, and that is call out the champion. It usually takes me 30 seconds or so to name all top 5 fighters that I like the best, my top 5, and it's always easy to say Uriah Faber's name. Uriah Faber was, and always will be one of my favorite fighters. I've been watching him. He was the man, for the little guys. He and Jens Pulver those two were the man. They're unstoppable. They were unstoppable when I first started watching MMA. And Uriah Faber took a fight, a risky fight, a high risk, low reward against Yuri Alcantara. If you've never heard of him, you're in the same boat as me. This guy, however, was a finisher. He was strong. He was violent. At the same time, he was very technical. He knew what he was doing. He could wrestle. He could grapple. He had submissions. He could definitely hold his own on the feet. Wicked kicks. And that's where I felt like he would have an advantage on Faber. It was in the kicking department. And the first round belonged to Alcantara for sure. I had it 10-9 easily. Maybe even, I don't want to say 10-8. I'm always anxious to give 10-8s. I don't think anyone else is, but I was scared for Faber because the guy's on a roll, and like I said, high risk, low reward fight. Since no one knows the guy, he's not ranked in the UFC top 10, nothing like that. Uriah Faber being right up there with the elite with Dominic Cruz and Renan Barão, and then you got Faber. but this guy's nowhere to be found, and he's dominating favor in the first. And again, Team Alpha Male is still undefeated since Dwayne Bang Logwood took over as head coach. And he has admitted to smoke marijuana. Smokes marijuana and watches tape. And yeah, has no problem, telling people what he does. He says it helps him analyze, and I can see that. So anyway, going on. Uriah Faber wins unanimous decision. Well-deserved unanimous decision. Landed some nasty heavy elbows in the second and third round. The third round was all Faber. Just as much as the first round was Uri, the third round was all Faber, and the second was certainly Faber too. So 29-28 Faber, and I'm happy to see him get yet another win, and I cannot wait to see him rematch Dominic Cruz for the third time. The co-main event, Travis Brown versus the Reem. A massive onslaught. The thing was Alistair Overeem was a heavy favorite yet again, even though he's coming off of a loss to Bigfoot. Bigfoot goes to the title shot. Alistair Overeem drops in the rankings, fighting Travis Brown, ranked number 10. He was ranked number 6. He just was beating him into oblivion. He landed the harder shots, the heavier shots up against the cage. They were clinched up against the cage, and Travis Brown took everything that the Reem had to offer, and it wasn't enough. Just as Anderson Silva did to Vitor Belfort, it was the front kick to the face. It landed flush on the jaw and ended the night of Alistair Overeem. It was actually a left straight kick to the face that knocked him down, followed up by some ground and pound, and this all happened within like a 2-minute span. So it was a really wicked, just war. It was an absolute war. These heavyweights, whoever lands first usually wins. And let's go to the main event. This is a 205 pounds. Chael Sonnen, a natural middleweight, needs to get a win to stay relevant in mixed martial arts. Let's face it. He has 3 title shots in a row. No, not in a row. I'm sorry. He had 2 title shots in a year span. He had another one last year against the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. So he's fought the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world twice. Once in Anderson Silva, rematched Silva, and then he fought Johnny Bones Jones, and was popped out in the first round. So he needed this win to stay relevant, especially at 205. Shogun looked phenomenal against Henderson. Henderson and Sonnen have been like this for as long as MMA's probably been around. These guys have known each other, been training with each other. Chael was content to take it straight with that power double. I think 3 seconds into the fight, he shot for a power double. I know that when whatever logo was in the way of the clock went away, it said 4 minutes and 53 seconds. So 7 seconds Shogun was on his back. However, Shogun reversed the fortunes and was able to take Chael Sonnen down. This surprised me. I think it surprised Chael far more than it surprised me or anybody else. I think Chael was extremely surprised that Shogun was A, able to take him down, and B, went for the takedown. Shogun's known as a Muay Thai striker, has one of the best highlight reels in mixed martial arts history. Really, he does. He will go for roll for knee bars, and he has beautiful sweeps. If you want to see a knee bar from hell, he's a 2005 Pride Grand Prix champion, Shogun. And if you just type in on Google, it's Shogun Hua versus Kevin Randleman. At the time, Kevin Randleman, the monster Randleman was a monster. People were afraid of this guy. I mean, Fedor fought him, and he almost broke Fedor's neck. And he puts him in the nastiest knee bar that I have seen to date. And I mean, I think this was 2004, 2005. And it was one of the nastiest, and he held it for forever, what seemed like forever, until finally Randleman, submitted. He tapped out. He had it so hyperextended, it looked like he was literally going to take the leg home with him. He takes Chael down. Chael, you can tell his ground game, his technique, his jiu-jitsu has just increased in leaps and bounds. It's gotten so much better, just so much better. We knew he had submissions because he scored a head and arm triangle choke for the win in the second round over All-American Brian Stann after being laid off for a year. He embarrassed Brian Stann, and I definitely didn't see that happening, especially after seeing Stann and what he can do. Look what he did to Lieben, and Chael made him look silly. It looked like he made it look very simple, and he did it again. He did it again with a win over Shogun. How much time was with 2 minutes left on the clock? The significant strikes were 9 for Shogun and 47 for Sonnen. With 24 seconds left on the clock, Chael was able to take Shogun down again, and this is a big no-no in Jiu-Jitsu, and he did sweep him. He did try, he was managing to get back to his feet, but he was very sluggish in doing so and left his neck sticking way out. Instead of riding his forehead up Chael's stomach and chest and keeping his neck down, he left his neck exposed and was very sluggish and slow and had an S grip on him the whole time. So Chael just looped that arm around, got the grip, and Chael, for the first time ever, and I've seen Chael in Bodog fight. I've seen all his fights in the WEC, including the 2 against Paulo Filho. All his fights in the UFC. I've seen him in screaming, literally screaming because he was in ankle locks and shit, and didn't really know what to do on the ground except for ground and pound. But he lost to Forrest Griffin in the IFL via triangle. Submissions were his weakness. Now they seem to be helping him out because he jumps guard with 20 seconds left in the fight. He jumps guard, 20 seconds left in the first round. He's beating him 47-9 in significant strikes. He gets that grip around Shogun. He goes for the guillotine, jumps guard, gets it. Shogun taps at 4:45 in the first round. Super exciting card, stacked from top to bottom. There's lots of fights I left out, lots of controversy I left out, especially a fight that you guys didn't get to see. I didn't get to see either, but I did my research, and that was Cole Miller and Manny Gamburian, seasoned The Ultimate Fighter Season 5 veterans. Man, I want to see it. We didn't get to see it, and apparently it was pretty controversial. Cole Miller did a lot of damage, but during this top time position, Manny Gamburian with his pit bull-like style eked out a 29-28 decision over Cole Miller. That was earlier on. Later on this week, you're going to see me again because Carlos Condit is going to rematch the only man other than the champion George St. Pierre to defeat him in the Octagon. And it was his Octagon debut. Coming over from the WEC, was highly touted. This guy was submitting everybody. I think most of his wins came, I think they all came by submission, and most of them in the first round. So he comes in, with high expectations, and Martin Kampman beat him by split decision. I gave the fight to Condit. I'm not a judge, so it really doesn't fucking matter. He loses to Martin Kampman. Finally, they get to rematch on free TV. So again, this week, I'll be breaking that down for you too. It's great to be back. Love you guys to death. It's all about love and respect. Paul Silva 101 for Fox Sports. UFC on Fox Sports 1. Chael Sonnen jumps guard, submits Shogun, who